Hey people, Dan Lasson here. A few days ago, or about a week ago, a very interesting question popped up in the Letsynthesize Facebook production group. If you are interested in joining it, just check the description. About how to make the very legendary T-99 Anasthasia stab. It's a very old Rave sound, or it's a very old Rave song, but it has a stab which is, very famous, and it basically generated a full genre. So we stood there and just tried to figure out how the guy created that stab, because it sounds very, very good, and this is the stab itself. So it is so cool. I made some research and made this remake. Let's jump into it. Okay, so first of all, this is not a cut from the song, the T-99 Anasthasia song, but this is a full remake. And I made some research and I found out that the dude, the original producer of T-99, sampled an orchestra song. And this was the song, so let me show it to you. It is called Carmina Burana, or I'm not sure how to pronounce Carmina Burana. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but this is how, I'm sure that you know it. That's it.
Hey, I bet you want to hear this. Fuck the beat up! If you want to learn how to make this huge track, click the link in the description for the most violent and brutal dubstep course, only available at Letsynthesize Academy.
So what I did is I tried to sample it, because you know that these guys in the old times sampled a whole bunch of stuff, like literally everything. They sampled everything. So let's try to do that. Go back to the first part of the song. Let's start recording. Okay, and this is enough, because I know that the second hit, this stuff, this guy, is the one that probably the dude resampled, or not resampled, sampled basically. So this hit. So let me make a cut. And we don't need actually the rest of it. Now, back in the old days, these samplers were not that crisp and clean like today's samplers, especially with the computers. So they had some very nice, crunchy, rusty, downsampled sound, and we need to replicate it somehow. So this is why I added a redux, or I don't know how to pronounce it again, in the audio effects of this guy here, and I set the downsample rate or amount to about 3.6. And this is what I'm going to use up. So let me make a new channel and new audio channel and just, resample it. Because, it is not the same when you just put this Redux and play it on the keyboard with the Redux tool on it, or you resample the whole sound with the Redux and put it in a sampler that way. So we are going to use the second method. So I'm going to resample the sound with the Redux. And this is very good because it will generate some pretty nice, crispy, crunchy, high-end, top-end that will give some very nice sound when we play it on the keyboard. So just let's do it quickly. Boom, and done. Okay, so let's drop it into a new sampler. Instrument, sampler. Book. Okay, so right now we have this sound. Okay, we don't need a fader. Where are you, fader? And let's add some volume to it. And probably I'm going to need to set the starting position. Yeah, that's a lot better. And you know, I always like to put everything into note, into key. So let's go down to G because this sample is in G. Okay, the first thing that I want to add here is a utility tool because on itself, this sound is a little too wide. And in the original sound, I hear that it is not that very wide. It is a little mono-ish. So let me compare it. Okay, now it is again a little too quiet. Okay, cool. Now let's add another erosion to make the sound a little more crispy on the top end. So just use the same amount, about, well, 3.6 or something. Yeah, we had 3.6, something like that. Okay, let's add an EQ8. And what I want to do is boost a little on the highs and on the middle, well, on the lows at around 150. Okay, the next thing that I want to add is an OTT. Now you may wonder, the original producer didn't use an OTT. Okay, but you know, he didn't use the same YouTube video because YouTube didn't exist at that time. He probably used a vinyl record, you know, and that is what he used to sample it in a very old vinyl sampler. So all these little effects added together as a very rich sound. So we try to replicate it with digital instruments and digital effects, which is a little hard. So I'm sure that he applied a huge compression on the sound with all those little tiny effects that the analog gear added. So let's do that, and an OTT will give some very, very nice results to it. Okay, now the high end is a little too harsh, so what I want to do is use a low pass filter and cut it at around, well, 9K or 10K should be good. Okay, but at the same time, I would say boost a little on the tops. Okay, cool. And the next thing is a reverb. Now, this Ableton reverb is not the best, and I'm not sure which reverb he used, the original producer, but this is already very good. So this is it. If you want, you can add the saturator to the end to avoid digital clipping. This is already very nice. So compared to the original, so again, this is not 100% the same because we don't know which record the original producer used. We cannot replicate the sampler, the sound of the sampler, the original hardware sampler, which was a Roland S. I don't know the type of that original sampler and all the effects he used. So we don't know that. And probably these were analog gears, which we're trying to replicate with digital gears. And this will never sound the same. So anyway, this is a very usable sound. If you want it, just check the descriptions. I hope you enjoyed this and see you guys next time. Bye bye.